Hey guys, welcome back to One Pretty Little Box. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be responding to some questions and comments on one of my most popular videos of I'm so glad I'm quit teaching. This video was up in August of 2017, and since then I continue to get comments and questions on this video every single week. And so I thought this morning I would spend a few minutes and we're going to chit chat, and this will be a prelude into a few videos in the next week I need to finish them in the next week. I'll try to get as much info into this video, and then maybe I'll have one more. And then if you continue to have questions, I will definitely continue to answer them. So let's hop to it because there's a lot. This one was a year ago. Kamisha had said, I envy you. I'm in that position. I'm dead inside and it's affecting all aspects of my life. And then she said, Lord, guide me. I know that feeling very well. I actually started feeling that feeling after my 10 years into teaching. And it wasn't the teaching. I have to continue to reiterate that it wasn't the teaching itself. It wasn't the kids. It wasn't the planning. It wasn't even all the extra work that I didn't get paid for. Mine was the environment that I was in, and the changes that had occurred throughout those last 3 years. And just the it was just such a toxic environment. So much so that you could tell there were over half of the teachers that were there were not there for the right reason. And when you're not in the classroom for the right reason, you're wasting everyone's time, and you're kind of hindering from the kids who could benefit from a teacher who's there for the right reason. My husband used to get so frustrated, and he never understood all the extra work that I did on my own free time. He actually lost a lot of respect because I did so much extra that I didn't get paid for. But that's my personality. I'm going to go above and beyond. And excuse this wicked glow that's on my face because I am looking at the laptop while I'm talking to you. So I understand that feeling of just complete, utter dread. And it is hard. And this video has over 241 comments. A lot of those, at least half of those, are responses for me, because I do personally respond to every single comment that's put on any of my videos, at least if I'm notified about them. And usually I am. Sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. That was gross. Anywho, so there's a lot of people out there, and this is the time of year that you have to start considering your options for the next year, because you will either be signing a new contract, you will be going through evaluations, you will be pretty much pinned to a wall and said, hey, are you coming back next year? Because schools do have to plan. They have to prepare as well for teachers that are going to be there and aren't. And it is more professional for you to walk away in enough time for them to prepare. I know when I turned my resignation in, I didn't turn it in to the last week of school because the job proposal that was presented to me wasn't presented to me until that weekend before, and immediately I knew that was my ticket out. If you followed my story, you know that job actually never came through. But I truly believe that it was God saying, okay, for 3 years you've been wanting to do something and you haven't done it. So I'm going to present an opportunity and you're going to make a choice, and then you're going to get off the fence. I got off the fence, and then I landed the job that I'm in now at the end of July, beginning of August. So I had a couple months off with the kids, and it was nice. I needed that break. anyway, I needed that mental just transition time. So if you are considering this being your last year of teaching, my first suggestion to you is to make a decision and don't waver on it and act on it today. If you truly believe that you are meant for other things, or you are in an environment that you are not thriving in, and that you wake up and you dread, or you are just at your uttermost downward spiral phase, start writing out your resignation and turn it in. It will be the best thing that you could ever do. Yes, I'm not single. I'm married. At that time, though, my husband was unemployed. He had a job on the horizon, but he was unemployed. So we were living off savings and unemployment for him. Of course, I resigned, so there was no way I could draw unemployment for myself. So for those who said that, oh, I had a cushion, well, I didn't have much of a cushion. But turning that resignation in and walking away was the best thing I ever did. The best thing I ever did. And I'll say it one more time. It was the best thing I ever did. Because then I could realize that I was holding on to something I wasn't meant to hold on to anymore. And when you hold on to something you're not meant to hold on to, you are keeping yourself from endless opportunities that might not ever present itself to you beforehand. They're not going to. It's kind of like the universe, God, whatever you want to think, is going to test you. You're going to be tested to see what's really important to you. Is feeling fulfilled and happy and finding your purpose in this world is what important to you? Or is a paycheck, no matter how terrible you feel getting that paycheck, is? I kind of linked it up to me, and this is going to sound very crude, and I don't mean to offend anyone by any means, but it's almost like prostituting yourself out for something that you are just not enjoying. It's kind of like you're just going to a job to get a paycheck. That's what prostitutes do. They just lay up there and they do what they do to get a paycheck. I don't think they really like it. Do you? I don't know. Never been in that situation. Maybe they do. But it's no different. If you are working a job that you absolutely hate and you're dying inside, it's no different than that. Except for that it's legal. It's legal. No one can tell you to go. You could lose your job very easily, but no one's gonna. It's not illegal like prostitution is, obviously. So, I loved this comment by Gigi Howard. It says, I am glad I came across this video. So often when teachers quit, we are told it's because we don't like kids or we aren't cut out for it, when there are many problems that teachers encounter that make the job not worth it. There's nothing wrong with practicing self-care, and not everyone wants to deal with unnecessary drama. Education is losing good people because of the drama and stress associated with the job. I love kids, but I can't wait for the last day I'm a school teacher. And I get it. I totally get it. I didn't quit because I hated the job. I loved it. I loved it. I will be honest and say I really miss it. But I don't miss the drama. I don't miss the drama. I don't miss that my husband didn't respect what I did. Because even though he did respect that I was an educator, he lost respect in me because he felt like I was selling my soul to something that wasn't going to happen, and I wasn't happy. I was tired of giving my family my leftovers. I was tired of bringing the classroom home every single day, every single weekend, on vacation times. Yes, we had spring break, we had Christmas break, we had summer break, but I can tell you, during all of those breaks, I was working for stuff for the classroom. I was trying to better myself. I was trying to come up with new innovative ideas for the classroom. I was coming up with new lesson plans. Every year I rewrote my lesson plans. I did not revamp them from the year before. I might would glance at them the last 2 years, I may have glanced at the year before because we had found a system that was working so well. So I kind of used it as a guideline, but I still changed something up all the time. That's just how I was. That's how I'm geared. Anywho. So yes, the education system is losing some really great people. Lily Simon had said, I enjoy teaching, but I don't like all the politics that come in dealing with administration. It makes my job harder. Yes, it does. Especially if your administration doesn't have your back. If they are not there for the greater good of education and teachers, then they are there for themselves and their own paycheck. And that is very sad. The really sad thing is I worked in a church, and there is a lot more drama and politics hidden behind the door of faith than you could ever imagine. Teaching is a Christ follower said, teaching is a stressful job. After 14 years, I'm out. The job I currently have makes about 75% of my teaching salary, but there's far less stress, and when work is done, it's done. Yes, girl. There's no taking stuff home. I hated that about the job or staying late. Yes. I walk out of my office and I don't take anything home ever. I have brought something home to work on one time, and it's because I volunteered to do it because I wanted that project to be finished. I worked from home one time because I needed to be here for an installation of our internet, I think is what it was. So, but yes, I don't bring work home, and it's great. Now, this person, RoboCat, probably worked with older kids. I worked with preschoolers. They were younger. And they said, I was a teacher for 5 years. I found my students were nice in class, but many were mean and argumentative outside of school. They learned a lot of swearing, potty mouth, meanness, bullying, yelling at grown-ups. Yes, I haven't experienced that, but I've seen it. Mostly like sporting events and that kind of thing. The district my kids go to does not tolerate that. But the district we were in before we moved into this district, the parents ruled that district and still does. And it's going downhill faster than a snowball can, faster. They continue to say they are distant and non-community oriented outside of school. They are self-centered. I found girls are more difficult to teach than boys. At least one class a semester, one girl told me, I don't like the class. I don't want to do homework. In community, these were rude and mean with adults. I quit teaching. I hated teaching them. Sorry. I get it. There's so much behind the scenes that if you're not in the classroom, you have no clue. No clue. And the teacher takes all the heat when a lot of times, maybe some of them need to. I'm not saying every teacher is a great teacher. We see it in the news all the time. There are some terrible teachers out there that should not be teaching. But that's the problem. There are teachers that should not be teaching at every school. Every school has them. Just because you have a piece of paper that says you can teach does not mean you should. It does not mean you should. And that is probably what is taking the good teachers out, is because they don't want to, they're tired of that. Because sadly, those people are very manipulative, very enabled. They are very, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. They feel entitled. And they will lie, they will cheat, they will steal to get their way. And I was sick of it because I was in a church. And it's like those who needed to have their blinders off to see everything going on always had them on. And if you tried to present something that was going on, you were made to feel like, oh, you're just stirring the pot. Hell no, I wasn't stirring the pot, but I'm sick of the bullshit and I'm done. Sorry, YouTube. But that's how so many teachers are feeling. So, let's go. So many of these are, I'm at a crossroads. I've been in education for 10 years. I'm at a new school this year. I can't stand the rude and disrespectful society that is currently emerging. No manners, no regard for others. I cannot be a mom for over 100 kids. Oh, girl, I know. I want to teach, but I'm not their parent. It's insanity. I cannot and will not last much longer. I don't have any other real passions or job leads, and I don't know what to do. That was from someone with the screen name AR. And I'm going to tell you what to do. This is the whole purpose of this video, is to kind of maybe share a few tips. I think as teachers, it's very easy for us to go into administration of some sort. An administrative assistant, secretary, receptionist. You are going to take a cut in pay. But I guarantee you that once you put those skills to use and get something outside of education onto your resume, you will have more experience than someone who just went to school, say, for business administration. Because honestly, we use all of those skills in our classroom. We use time management skills. We use, I don't know about you, but I used Word and Excel and Outlook a lot when I was in the classroom. Did I have to? No, but I kind of created my own curriculum to go with curriculum that was already given to us, because it had so many holes that most curriculum does, that I couldn't walk away from that classroom that day and know that I did the best that I could if I just followed their curriculum. There's no way. That's not building a whole well-rounded student, and that was always my purpose and my goal when I was in the classroom. So going into administration is great. I know personally, I didn't want to be in an educational environment anymore, period. I just didn't, because I'd had enough. And I knew that this is 2 years later. I can only imagine what it is now. And I've heard some horror stories from the school that I left. I've heard some things that I now know for a fact that leaving was the best thing I could do, and I did it at exactly the right time. Probably should have done it a couple years before, but I didn't. But that's one avenue. You can take time and go and get your realtor license. That will take you probably, I don't know, a lot of those you can kind of do on your own pace. So if homes and all that interests you, that is an idea. I was just so focused on wanting to get into an office because I knew that's what I wanted to do. I love computers. I love technology. I love those kind of things. Another suggestion is, especially if you love to create and you love to create curriculum, is maybe to start doing a side gig with Teachers Pay Teachers. It doesn't pay a whole lot, but you got to start somewhere. If you're crafty, you can always start a store in Etsy. Start a YouTube channel. It may take you forever to build up the subscribers you need and content and that kind of thing, but eventually it could become a side gig as well. What do you want to do with your life? I always want to say, if you could do anything and get paid to do it, what would you want to do? And if you close your eyes and really think about that question, you'll find your answer. I was ready to go from that classroom atmosphere into a professional atmosphere. And it's funny because I work for a very small firm, and it doesn't have to be so professional. There's 4 of them and 1 of me, and I'm the only chick, which is nice because there's no girl drama, there's no female drama, and dudes are different. Their conversations are so funny to listen to because you'll hear them just chit chat about sports and then they move on. whatever. They don't talk about what so-and-so did. They don't talk about family stuff. They don't talk about their neighbors. They don't, the ones I work with don't gossip, and it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful environment to be in. That's probably why I'm thriving as well as I am, because I'm not around the drama, which is nice. You could, if you love maybe to encourage other teachers, you could go and get registered with the state that you are in to be a trainer. I think it's called train the trainer, to be an instructor. I know I used to love going to the conferences, and I could see myself up there encouraging other teachers and giving them ideas and suggestions. And my biggest thing was learning how to communicate well with the parents and making connections with the kids. Because if I could do those two things, and I could do those two things in the beginning of the year, the rest of my year would be set. And if an issue arose, then they knew that if I'm coming to you with something that's going on, I'm not coming to you to pick on your kid. I'm coming to you to share something that happened and to get insight, and maybe a solution could be found between the two of us. It's trust. It's building trust with parents. That is what a lot of teachers are lacking right now. A teacher's worst enemy, the biggest impediment in doing the job, the people least interested in your welfare or effectiveness is the administration. So many of you have talked about in your comments about the administration and how you're feeling that you don't have the support that you need. I completely agree. That is kind of like anything. It's like leadership. Wherever your leadership is, if your leadership is failing at doing their job, then everything underneath it that trickles down all the way down to the janitor is going to be affected one way or another, and usually in a negative way. So if for some reason you are an administrator in your school and you are a leader or whatever, you need to step up your game, because the people are talking and it's causing a lot of issues. Just saying. Motorcycle Guy 73 said, I quit my teaching job after 1 year. It just wasn't that the kids didn't care. Administration didn't care. They were bullies. They played petty little drama games if you weren't in their club. I worked with a lot of teachers like that. They stunned you and played games with you to make you fail and quit. It's not about the students there. It's about the money and numbers, and that's it. They have 50% turnover rate in teachers. I saw a lot of good teachers quit. My class alone had 5 teachers in 4 years. Oh, and to top it off, they screwed me out of my 301 money. I went back and fought it and couldn't justify it. The principal just kept saying, oh well. Oh man. The name of the school is, well, I'm not going to say it. I'm glad you went on and found your new passion. That's me too. I'm looking, but I feel so much better I left. And that's one thing in these comments, is so many teachers are sharing their stories and how amazing it is just to be free from something that they're not enjoying. And this video is already 22 minutes long. Oh my goodness. Lava 1964 said, 1 month as a substitute teacher was enough for me. I've been a private tutor for 24 years and I have my sanity and my health. So that is another idea, is to go into tutoring or into a private business yourself. I know there are many people who do, like if you are in special education, you can actually go and be a liaison. You can go in and do family consulting. You can go in and kind of create your own business. So if you still have a passion for some part of your education background, but you're wanting to steer away from administration and that's been the issue, go out and start your own. Go find your own way. Go find your own business. Go turn it into something that you love and that is going to make bank for you. Lindsay Ever After said, I'm a former pre-K, kinder, and first grade teacher too. I'd miss it, but I don't think I could go back to that either. I feel you, girl. There's no way. 6 months ago, Sarah said that this Friday will be my last day as a teacher. There's so many reasons why I won't continue teaching, but the biggest reason is the same as yours. I'm sick of the drama. The paperwork, the parents, the colleagues. It's all too much. I feel like I've lost myself completely. Yep. Anything you're doing that you feel like you have lost who you are and you don't even know who you are anymore because you're just following the motions, it's time to move out. Sorry, it's time to move on. Move out, move on, whatever. I've been a teacher for 18 years. I love my students. This is from Leslie Lang. I love my students, even the difficult ones. Yes, the hard ones always seem to be the ones that I was the closest to. There was a small part of me that is still hanging on, but I'm really considering my options for another job. Totally get how there is too much drama in schools amongst teachers, admins, and parents. I truly dislike bureaucracy and politics that goes on. Sometimes I feel like teachers act just like students do, or they had a bad high school experience and literally went back to high school to relive it. Yes! I've always said junior high was not my favorite time of my life, and I spent 13 more years back in junior high, and I hated every bit of it. About 4 years ago, I decided to stop doing that and separate my work from my life. Hard, and I totally understand where you're coming from. Congrats on the new job. Maybe I'll be there too. I'm going to stop there. This conversation, this topic is not over. I just wanted to kind of touch base with those of you who are considering not teaching anymore, to let you know that I am here to encourage and inspire you to dig deep and discover if it's worth it. Your health, your mental health, your social health even, depend on you. Depend on you. And they depend on you on finding where you need to be in your life. And I can tell you, it was quite interesting, and I don't remember, maybe it was a TED Talk, or it was Tony Robbins, or somebody. I don't remember who it was, but they said most adults have 5 careers in their lifetime. 5 careers. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And those careers usually are not linked up together at all. And for me, I can tell you, it kind of rings true. I was a cosmetologist for about 1.5 years. I worked retail for 10 years, 9 years, maybe 10 years before I had the twins, and then I quit because daycare for a 2-year-old and twin infants just was not going to work. And then I taught for 13 years. I stayed home for 2 years, and then I went into teaching, and I almost went back into retail, but something stopped me, and it was what I needed to do. I didn't need to go back into retail, and teaching in the beginning was wonderful. It really taught me a lot about who I was. It brought out a lot of my creativity, a lot of different things. So I'm not saying I should have never done it. I definitely should have. It was exactly where I needed to be at that time. And then now I am administrative assistant at a CPA firm, who is an auditing company. Actually, we do a lot more audits than we do taxes. So I've had 4. Every one of them I've loved. The first one was okay, but I loved them. And what is that 5th going to be for me? I have no idea. But I can honestly say that I ring true with that typical most people have multiple careers. Mind you, there are people who retire from teaching, who have taught 20 years teaching. And, you know, good for you. You did a great job. But sometimes we're made for more, and we don't give ourselves the permission to explore other things. So with this video, I want to give you permission to go figure out something else, if that's where you're at. If you feel like you've just lost your mojo And it's going to be more than the typical, oh, I can't wait till the end of the year. It's going to be hitting hard now that April's coming. I understand completely. But when you dread going to work every day and you pull up in that parking lot and you don't want to get out of your car, it's time. It's time to give yourself permission to move on. It is scary. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It is scary. The whole unknown is scary, but it's also exciting. It also breathes new life into you, and it also opens up the path to the unknown, which is nice. Surprises are always good. So I'm going to end with this thought for you, is to give yourself permission to explore. If you're at that desperate point, work on writing out your resume. I'm not saying you have to turn it in. That's a decision that you're going to have to make. But go ahead and be prepared. Go ahead and write it out. What does it look like? What does it feel like to write that resume? I can tell you, for me, it was liberating. And the day I turned it in, I felt like I had lost 50 pounds off my shoulders. I walked with a new step. And the day that I walked out for the last time, turned my key in, was probably one of the best days of my life. And I want that for you. I want you to have one of those best days of your life by taking charge of your career and your journey and not letting the almighty dollar rule it. And I get you have bills. I understand. I understand. But sometimes you're going to be tested to let go of what doesn't belong so that you can let in what needs to come in. You can do it. I know you can. I will have another video coming up. Definitely feel free to leave comments. And for those who have been asking, I still love what I do. I still love going into the office every day. Yes, there are some days I'm like, oh, I just want to stay home. And it's usually because I stayed up too late. Or I had a project in mind that I want to work on for YouTube or writing or whatever. But those things I have to make time. I have to discipline myself to get all of that done. And sometimes I don't. So that's a whole other video for another day. I'm gonna tell you guys goodbye, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye!